Let's see if they do still commit to picking up the Faceless Void and having that Chronosphere Supernova combo for Vici. Wow, they go Drow. Very different than what I thought it was going to be. I will say I'm a little bit surprised on that one.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Wasn't really expecting
Gaming's turn to ban
the Drow Ranger there, and now they banned the Shadow Fiend. And I wonder if that change is due to the fact that they were, you know, that they picked up that Necro. They banned the Shadow Fiend. I wonder if this Necro is going to be mid. I know we saw Yang on the Necro earlier tonight.
5 seconds remaining.
Right now, I like Royal Never Give Up and what they have bringing to the table. Although I will say, I wish they had a little bit more lockdown. They're going to work with Sinister Gaze as well as the Impale. I'm not certain that that's going to be enough.
RNG's turn to pick.
And now Vici go to the Kunkka over mid, which is a pick that I've been waiting for. So you've got the X, you've got the Hoof Stomp, Fire Blast, you've got the Silence now for the Drow Ranger. Decent team fight overall as well. Your catch potential here for Vici seems pretty good.
5 seconds remaining.
Now, does this Necro go offlane, and do they pick something else over mid? Or do you throw the Morphling mid, put it on Setsu, and get Monet a different hero? And they go Darkseer. So it's mid Necro, offlane, Darkseer, safe lane, Morphling, with Lich being played by Super and September back on the Nyx Assassin. So we'll see if Vici can close out this chase to get back to LGD. Or if Royal Never Give Up can run through the lower bracket, or actually, I should say, can Royal Never Give Up get that chase back to LGD? So Ori on the Kunkka, Eurus on that Drow Ranger, DY on the 5 position Ogre Magi, Yang on that offlane Centaur, PYW on the Phoenix for the side of Vici. And then it will be Flywin on the Darkseer, September on the Nyx, Setsu on the Necro, Monet on the Morphling, leaving Super on the Lich. So we're ready to go. We had a long break in between both series. Sometimes it kind of ruins the ebb and flow of a broadcast, but try not to let that happen. I keep the energy up here despite the 5 a.m. timing. Although, I say that, but I choose to cast these games. I know what I'm in for. Early a.m. mornings. And I love it. I love Chinese Dota, especially... the playoffs for this event has been very exciting, so I'm very happy to be here, doing my part. So Frostblast comes in as well as the Impale. DY taking a lot of damage, but the Fire Spirits come through on to September. We got the Frost Arrows slowing up Flywin, who went to the Ion Shell. Vici will get first blood. Spirit's still hitting away at these heroes on the side of RNG, and early on here for the side of Vici Gaming, they'll come through and grab themselves a quick first blood. Now they look for more. They're going on to September. They continue to try and disrupt for this bounty rune, but September picks it up with a two-man impale. Unable to clean up there as DY does get the kill on the September. So 2 kills now for Vici. Impale comes through. Some damage back and forth here over bottom. September needs to be careful. He's got his that Impale, and they were dealing with the Ion Shell of Flywin. Got super down bottom as well. And finally he'll TP over towards top. Taking a look over at the Necro, getting low, as Ori gets an easy kill there, making it 3-0 very quickly. And just continuing to dominate early on is Vici. And this has looked pretty much stellar from them to start out this game. 2 early kills. The first blood goes the way of this bottom lane with PYW grabbing himself a kill and an assist. Ori, meanwhile, doing quick work here to Setsu over in the mid lane. I mean, things are honestly looking fantastic for Vici. 4-0 start. They have taken out both the safe laner and the mid laner. Well, they've taken out all cores. And things seem to spiral from there. I mean, it could become a big problem. Ori is ripping through this Necro. He is certainly not happy for the moment. But, you know, with that Death Pulse, does a lot of damage here onto Ori, who's forced back and has to use that salve. Meanwhile, Super hit with the Icarus dive. This is the, I think this is the set that makes you into a pyramid. Spirit's coming through, Super burning away. A couple more shots needed from PYW, but the salve will be there. And, well, that'll be stopped halfway up to full health. So, things still going well right now for Vici. Ori turning, looking over at Setsu. Setsu not really able to come close to the lane anymore. He'll use that Death Pulse once again. He's got a salve that will be ferried over to him, but the shot is through. Ori is here, continuing with the Tidebringer. Doesn't have X marks the spot for another 10 seconds. And it's all about positioning right now for this Necro. If anybody were to come over from the side of Vici, I feel like that would have resulted for sure into a kill. Icarus dive on top of Monet, shifting into the strength, trying to survive here. Yang pops the retaliate. Monet with the frost shield about to run out, but the adaptive strike comes in. Meanwhile, you've got Necro continually sitting low here. Finally gets the salve, and he'll heal, as well as drop everything to make the best work he can with those mangoes. Pulse again. Tidebringer hurts. Now sitting about a full level behind. Now they've got the X. Ori working with another Tidebringer, and Setsu Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire eaten by Ori, and another solo kill here. He's styling. I'm not a fan of saying that. I'm not a fan of that phrase, but that is just grace in the mid lane. Spirits on Monet, 15 and 8 here. You compare that to the Drow Ranger, bottom at 28 and 16. Boy, does it feel good to be on Vici at the moment. Monet eating a lot of this pressure. Yang might just fall. Frost Shield on him. He needs to find a way to turn and survive. But instead, look at the kill here onto Yang in trade for Super. First dive away. September nearby. Won't catch up to the Phoenix, who grabs that bounty rune. And again over mid. Here comes DY. But DY here with no mana and no stun. That was odd. He just kind of ran up there. But continues to put some harassment here on the Flywin. Meanwhile, Setsu, he sits pretty low, but Ori gets the rotation out for PYW. Icarus Dive comes in with the Spike Carapace. He gets stunned on the high ground. Kind of gets away with one there. September lands a 2-man stun with the Impale. DY continuing to put some focus on September. He starts to run away. He's taking some big shots in from the Ogre Magi and his giant club. Impale hits onto the Ogre. And is picked up top. And X as well as the TP back to base. He'll fill that bottle. He'll come back in just a moment. It's the easy heal there for Ori. And he's sitting level 6 while Setsu, he's still trying to get there. But Ori about to hit 7, so things still struggling for Setsu on this Necrophos. Meanwhile, Yang taking a little bit of damage as they chase on to Monet. Those Fire Spirits coming in once again, burning him out. And making this lane such a nuisance to be in. Looking for a wild Fire Spirit onto Monet, who shifts back into the strength. Fainting with that hoof stomp. Super now. Frost Shield slowing him up, and he might be dead. Sinister Gaze comes through, but there's the hoof stomp. Monet, he wants to go and get Yang. Meanwhile, they lose Setsu over mid. And PYW is thinking about turning on this, at least go after Super. He does do a lot of damage to this Lich, and let's see if he commits to it. The ping comes out from PYW onto Super. He won't go and commit to this, but he will drag the creep wave out away from behind the tier 1. There's a 4,000 net worth lead here for Vici already. 7-2 lead, and we'll never give up. Really struggling. They get the Impale out. They've got the level 6 available, so Reaper Scythe is there for the Necrophos. And there it is, but it's not enough damage. He survives, and he gets to leave. Oh, no. Gets shipped to Salve thanks to the trusty Ogre Magi and his Chocobo steed. But now they've got the Icarus Dive. Setsu in trouble. The silence comes through. That stun doesn't land here from September. And the chase is on from DY. Spirits will be wide, but they've got the Stampede. They'll catch up to this Nyx and get themselves yet another kill. 9-2 in favor of this Vici squad. This is going really well for the side of Vici at the moment. They've got the Vanguard already picked up on the Centaur. They're going to pressure this tier 1 tower over mid.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Doesn't have the TP for 6 seconds to get back into the mid lane. Monet, he's trying to farm up and stay towards the top of the net worth. He sits at 3,300 net worth overall, so a decent job thus far. Compared to that to the Drow, though, 500 net worth behind. And, I mean, if you compare the mids, it's a slaughter. Ori is the opposite of what some would say in the chat, trash. He's the opposite right now. He has destroyed his matchup, and he has put his team, not single-handedly, but for the most part, up 5,000 net worth with how much he has just destroyed mid. Keen Optic for the Kunkka. I'll give him an extra bit of cast range and some mana regen that he is not desperate for, but will certainly accept. Get the kill down through mid onto super. Taking the tier 1 over mid as well, and now they're going to go and pursue this tier 1 over top. He did pop the retaliate, so that'll be the extra damage needed to take this tower with ease. September dead bottom, DY gone as well. Wall committed to this one. Monet gets the kill on the DY. Ori gets the kill on a September. They do rotate Ori over. That does grant them 1 kill. That drops the wall, so you know, you've used that wall of replica. You got yourself a kill on the ogre. I don't know if that's worth it. Silence on the necro. Setsu has nothing.
Let me get my arrows back, and then you can die.
And this is just... I mean, Setsu's not allowed to play Dota. He's doing as much work right now as he would if he wasn't even involved in the game. This is brutal. And what you're watching is the not safe for work version of what not to do when you're playing mid. Or maybe not what not to do, but the not safe for work version of a matchup that goes poorly. Stun comes in onto the Kunkka. They'll use the Stampede, Waveform, as well as the Adaptive Strike, and now they've got themselves the boat rolling in onto September. The Torrent will follow it up. The Icarus Dive comes through. They've got the Fire Blast to hit onto the Nyx Assassin, dominating here for PYW as they get themselves at least 1, and now they're going to pressure the tier 1 tower over bottom. Setsu trying to recover anything he can, scrounging.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They do get this tier 1 tower. Eurus building into the Asha. He's already got that Dragon Lance. Take a look over the Morphling. He's going Manta after the Morbid Mask, and this is something that we haven't seen from Monet. It is the Manta before the E-Blade, and I think that there's been so much pressure around the map that maybe he doesn't feel comfortable going for the E-Blade, and maybe thinking that he doesn't have the ability to have as much space as he was granted up against Sirius.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yang continuing to farm up top, continuing to pressure the tier 2 tower here. And he's got himself the Vanguard. He has that extra Ring of Tarrasque. So he's happy with his regen. He's happy with just continuing to stand up here and basically look for a fight. Gus comes in onto the Nyx Assassin. Ori comes over, but September inside or under the Shroud of Vendetta. I mean, this is... it must be a great feeling here for Yang. He's continuing to just farm away. Necro finally surpassing the Phoenix's net worth. Sitting here just 200 gold ahead of the Phoenix, who is into the pipe. Meanwhile, bottom, they're trying to take this tier 1 tower. They've got Monet committing. A lot of TPs coming in from the side of Vici, and now they'll look for the Torrent. That doesn't land on either hero here, diving the tier 1 tower, but they look over at September. They've got themselves the X. Stun from DY, ends up hitting himself because they've got the Spike Carapace, but the split shot comes in from Eurus. Now the vacuum back into the wall. They get the kill into PYW. That's a big spree going the way of Super. They'll also take out Eurus. The Stampede comes in. They look over at the Lich. They get the kill into Super, and now here comes the boat. That hits onto Monet. Can they at least get the kill on the Morphling? That makes this really worth it to try and get the defend on the tier 1 tower over bottom. Flywind now trying to surge away. They've got the help from Setsu, maybe to get a Reaper Scythe out onto Yang. Adaptive Strike comes in. Setsu hit with the X. Now trying to get some distance between Yang as well as Setsu. Is it enough to get away from that Reaper Scythe? Doubles back. They've got the surge. The Hoof Stomp comes in. absolute timings on this man, but the Reaper Scythe will finally slice through his life. And they do get the kill onto the Centaur, but they still lead by 4,000 net worth after losing that tier 1 bottom. Setsu trying to get into the Yules. Now sits 1,000 gold ahead of this Phoenix after that good fight bottom. But let's see if Vici can recover off this. Icarus Dive comes through. They've got the X on to Setsu. This is a big problem. We're going to the Ghost Shroud. Surviving for now. Super coming over. He doesn't have Chain Frost, but he's got the Sinister Gaze. They'll go to the Supernova. Do they have the right clicks to stop this from popping? They do. But that means they're going to lose Setsu. The Impale comes out from September on a Eurus. That lands. Now the Spike Carapace follows it up. Monet, Adaptive Strike coming in. X as well as the boat. That takes out September, so they got a 2-for-1 trade in their favor. So right now for Vici, they are up still 4,000 net worth. That did hit and peak around the 7,500 mark for them. As they smoke up and cut through mid, DY would be happy with taking this smoke gank. But Kunker comes over, and now he's hit with the Sinister Gaze. Ori in trouble, but they've got the Stampede. They have no way to lock him down. They've got the Fire Blast coming through onto the Darkseer, and now the Icarus Dive over. They've got the X as well as the Spirit Vessel onto the Morphling. There's the Wall of Replica dropped by the Darkseer. Is it going to be enough to really deter the side of Vici from coming in? Chain Frost bouncing around, but it's not going to take any beneficial bounces over as it goes over to the neutral camp. Now they've got the X again on a Flywind. Well, you're surging. You'll get pulled back. You don't get hit by the Torrent, so you will survive. And after a lot was thrown from... really, I would say Royal Never Give Up. They don't kill anybody. Active Strike thrown again at Yang. Monet still trying to get into this Manta style and use the ulti orb. And this is a fine exchange there for Vici in the previous one, where they don't lose anybody. The Wall of Replica comes in as well as the Chain Frost. Those kills just don't happen. And then they look over top to get Setsu once again. Icarus Dive over. The Death Pulse is used. They've got themselves the X as well as the boat. I believe just the boat coming in. Setsu gets hit by it as does Flywind. September comes over, and now they're trying to get something going here. As the Vendetta as well as the Impale, they get the kill on the PYW. And all of a sudden, RNG are hitting the Power Spike. The stun comes through on a Setsu. Now they continue forward, but they've got the Torrent hitting from Ori. Monet surged as well as turning into the Centaur. He looks to maybe go in on this, but now he's trying to leave. X will pull back Monet, but they don't have the Torrent to go with this just yet, but they've got the Ignite. Now the Surge comes out on Monet once again to help him leave. He turns into the Centaur once more. They've got themselves the Silence as well as the Fire Blast coming through. Icarus Dive over the Essence Ring. Is it going to be enough here onto the Necro, or will it? He's into the Ghost Shroud, and now one more shot will finally get the kill. It's the Double Edge that takes him out. They'll use the Stampede. They'll run over Flywind. He's got no more mana. The Frost Arrows are slowing him down. The damage is there. They've got the X and pull him back into the Torrent with the kill of the Double Edge and the right click coming in from Yang. Meanwhile, DY does die to Monet, but the pressure comes into the tier 2 tower over towards top, and Vici will take it.
Top tower has fallen.
Gust coming out onto this Morph. Oh, jeez. The stun just way too late here. They've got the Spike Carapace, but the Torrent lands onto September. The Chain Frost is only going to hit onto the Phoenix. They'll get the kill onto September, and now they'll look for Super, who's on the run and onto the high ground with his tail between his legs. Taking out that Morphling in what felt like 3 shots. I think it was 3 shots. It was... nah, 4. Dies on the hoof stomp. 3 right clicks and a hoof stomp. But Ori almost doubling the net worth of Setsu right now. Meanwhile, Eurus, he's going into the BKB. He's got that Yasha as well as the Dragonlance. Blink Dagger finished off for Yang. Ori's got the Spirit Vessel. So, okay, so maybe that's why the Phoenix didn't go into the Spirit Vessel. It's because Ori made his. And he'll be going Heaven's Halberd afterwards. And he's got the Sange finished.
Radiant are scanning.
So Radiant sent a scan out. Some deep wards here from the Dire, or not deep, but across the river to gather some good intel for them. Although despite the vision, this is a warding mission with this smoke. So Yang set up over mid September. Doesn't have Vendetta for 45 seconds. Shows himself a little bit. Maybe looking to bait in Yang as he's got two heroes here to help him over on the side. But behind him is the smoked up side of Vici. So Yang, who's getting baited now? X marks the spot as well as the hook stop that comes through on a Setsu. They've got the right click damage coming in from Eurus. And now they use the Chain Frost from Super. They got the kill into PYW before he was able to get the Supernova off. The damage coming out on Yang is just not enough. I'll trade for Setsu happily. But that is Phoenix dead for over a minute due to the fact that he recently bought back.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So, Vici still up 7,000 net worth. Coming over with another smoke is Royal Never Give Up. Yang, though. Got the Vendetta from September. And close to breaking the smoke of the other heroes behind him. And there you look to wrap wide around by this outpost. And is this giving them vision of anybody right now? It spots DY, I think, for a moment. However, this smoke is about to fizzle. Drow's got that BKB. Ori going into a BKB of his own after the Heaven's Halberd. Take a look over at Monet, who's now looking towards the E-Blade after the Manta style. I'd like to see Vici kind of choke up on this lead and make sure that he's unable to grab that item if they, in the steps that they need to finish this game. They've got one tier 2 down, and things have kind of, as much as it's been a brawl and they've been winning these exchanges and these skirmishes, I think it's time to put some pressure on and really make it felt. Go for these objectives a little bit more. They do have the BKB finished. Question becomes, do they want to wait for Ori to grab a BKB of his own? Setsu, meanwhile, he finally has that Yule's. He's got the Essence Ring on him for his neutral item. Let's take a look at the neutral items for both sides. You've got the Clumsy Net out onto the Morphling, Dragon Scale here from the Nyx Assassin, Arcane Ring for the Darkseer, and the Ocean Heart on the Lich. And then for the Radiant, Ogre thought about TPing in. Grove Bow on the Drow, Essence Ring on the Centaur, Vampire Fangs for Ori, Clumsy Net on the Ogre, and Ocean Heart for the Phoenix. And they've got the Mango Tree down over by their Bounty Rune inside their own jungle. So this pacing right now, I think, really benefits the side of Royal Never Give Up. You want to be able to get into this E-Blade as quickly as possible, and this space definitely feels really nice. If they can go over and get the kill on Ori, that would be even better, but coming around the back is the rest of Vici, so they need to be careful. They've got themselves the Vendetta as well as the stun coming through. The Stampede's going to follow this up. The Waveform comes in as well as the Adaptive Strike and the Reaper Scythe. This does not turn into anything that great, as now the Vacuum as well as the Wall of Replica is dropped down, but they've got the Supernova. They get the kill here on a Super. Monet, he's stunned up thanks to the Supernova. They get the kill on a Setsu once again. He's gone for 46 seconds with buyback. They've bought back on the Lich already with the Sunray as well as the Spirit Vessel. The stun comes through from Yang as he blinks on top of Monet. Grabs the kill onto the Morphling. The Chain Frost doesn't do anything. Super buff back. He TPs into the outpost. And DY's got the Fire Blast and the help to take out this Lich once again. And that's the pressure I was talking about. That's exactly what Vici needed. And now this could potentially be into the high ground, forcing buybacks from RNG and put them even further behind. So they go for the tier 3 tower over towards top. They're going to hold the buybacks. They're going to concede this tower and then some. So a full set of racks for the side of Vici, and 12,000 net worth lead. This is looking really good right now for Vici Gaming. And over on the side of RNG, it is more head scratching and more how do we bring this game back. They've got the Orbit of Destruction dropped for a neutral 3 item. They've got Morphling still going into the E-Blade. He's 700 gold away from the Eagles song at least. Spike Carapace. Yule stops the X. Now the rest of the team needs to come in. They've got themselves the Stampede. They'll catch up to this. How much do RNG want to commit? They've got Yang right here. Silence doesn't hit on the Flywin, but they've got the X as well as the Torrent. There's the boat landing. Hoofstomp comes out on a September. They get the kill here onto the Darkseer. He doesn't have buyback. Now they look over at September. They got the dust on him. Icarus dive stopped by the Spike Carapace. The shots come through from the Drow. Finished off by Yang with a double edge. Now the Fire Blast hits out on a Setsu. He might be caught once again. Ghost Shroud, but the Hoofstomp's right there on him as well as the Gust. They got the Torrent to follow it up. They'll get the kill onto the Necro once he comes down from this Yules. There's no way out of this one, Setsu. You are dead to rights. Sunray onto the high ground with DY in tow. Go onto the high ground once again and look for the tier 3 mid as well as the set of racks. Take the tier 3 tower. Chain Frost is thrown, but not really felt too much. There's the blink. Hoofstomp hits on 2. They'll buy back on Setsu, and now they've got Flywin coming over with a vacuum as well as the Wall of Replica drop down. The Sinister Gaze locks up Yang. Can they get the kill out of the Centaur? They've got the Hoofstomp coming in from Monet, I believe morphed into the Centaur. So now, let's see, can RNG get anything else out on the exit? They committed a lot to this, and all they've got is 1. Yules on Ori, pops the BKB. Now Setsu needs to be careful, but coming around is September, going to the back lines looking for Eurus, and now they've got the E-Blade. They'll pop Eurus, but they look over at Setsu. Necro, who just bought back, is in a lot of trouble. The vacuum, can they get enough space here for this Necro? DY chasing, Hoofstomp misses, buybacks aplenty from Vici Gaming. They want to commit, they want to finish right now. They've got the stun coming through on a Super. September goes in with the Spike Carapace to try and lock up DY. That will get the stun, that will get the kill. They'll take out the Ogre Magi, and he might want to buy back as well. Vici, they committed heavily for this. Now they've got the Yules coming out onto the Phoenix. Can they lock him down? They've got the Sinister Gaze, but the 2-man stun comes out from Yang. Now they go into the Supernova. The Torrent follows it up. It hits onto the Lich as well as this Necro. They get the kill on the Setsu as well as Super, but they take out BYW. He did buy back. That was in with the Supernova. They get the kill on September. They take out 3. They don't have buyback. The waveform onto the low ground. With the Spirit Vessel on him, this is a tough ass to get out of this one. And Monet ends up dead. 4 heroes gone. No buyback for the side of Royal Never Give Up. So Vici go onto the high ground once again, and I think they're looking towards the tier 4s to finish this game off with little resistance. This game will be theirs. They look over at Flywin, X back, the Wall of Replica is down, but he won't be able to vacuum anybody into it. He'll buy back, but this is the Ancient dying. GG being called by Royal Never Give Up, and Vici take game 1 with relative ease. So, I want to say, you know, and I think most people are like Ori, or maybe Eurus are the MVPs of that game, but that was Yang, man. So many multiple hero Hoofstomps in the later parts of that game, especially in that last exchange where they committed everything. They committed all their buybacks to finish the game then and there. And if that fight had gone wrong or gone awry, saying the same thing twice, Vici could have really fallen off, and that could have been